Let me ask you a question about abortion. What would you do to further restrict women's access to abortions as president?
Well, look, I know where you're going, and I just want to say, a question was asked to me, and it was asked in a very hypothetical, and it was said illegal. I've been told by some people that was a older line answer, and that was an answer that was given on a basis of an older line from years ago, on a very conservative basis. But
your original answer, you mean?
My original, but I was asked as a hypothetical. Yeah. Hypothetically, the laws are set now on abortion, and that's the way they're going to remain until they're changed.
Because you had said you wanted, you told Bloomberg in January that you believed abortion should be banned at some point in pregnancy. Where would you?
Well, first of all, I would have liked to have seen, this be a states' rights. I would have preferred states' rights. I think it would have been better if it were up to the states. But right now the laws are set, and that's the way the laws are.
But do you have a feeling how they should change? There are a lot of laws you want to change. You've talked about them on everything from libel to torture. Anything you'd want to change on abortion?
At this moment, the laws are set, and I think we have to leave it that way.
Do you think it's murder, abortion?
I have my opinions on it, but I'd rather not comment on it.
You said you're very pro-life. Pro-life view is that it's abortion.
Yeah,
abortion is murder.
But I do have my opinions on it. I just don't think it's an appropriate forum.
But you don't disagree with that proposition, that it's murder?
What proposition?
That abortion is murder.
No, I don't disagree with it.
As you heard, Trump said the current abortion laws, quote, are set. And I think we have to leave it that way. But he came under fire for suggesting that he wouldn't change those laws. His campaign moved quickly to clarify those remarks, saying Mr. Trump gave an accurate account of the law as it is today and made clear it must stay that way now until he is president. Then he will change the law through his judicial appointments and allow the states to protect the unborn. There is nothing new or different here. Face the Nation host John Dickerson is with me now from Washington. John, let's take another look at this back and forth over abortion. Wednesday on MSNBC, Donald Trump said there should be some form of punishment for women who get abortion if procedure is made illegal. Later on Wednesday, the campaign put out a statement saying the doctor, not the woman, would be held legally responsible if the procedure was made illegal. Then on Friday, he tells you the laws on abortion are set and should be left that way. Facing fallout from those remarks, the campaign put out a statement saying that he meant the laws would stay the same until he becomes president, and changes laws through judicial appointments. And by the way, those statements from the campaign on Wednesday and Friday both included statements that his position hasn't changed. So why is his campaign struggling so much?
Well, I think he's just been unclear in what he said, and I think what he has said is at odds with the pro-life position as it's been articulated. So what people on both sides of the issue, but particularly those who do not support abortion rights say, is that it shows that he's not really thought through these issues. That he says, I have Reagan's position, which is it should be illegal with exceptions for health of the mother and rape and incest, and that's sort of all he's thought about it. So he's had some difficulty talking through exactly the other second order and third order questions that come from this.
John, conventional wisdom suggests that this was a bad week for Donald Trump, but he dominated the news cycle. I mean, I was in Brussels over the last week or 10 days or so, and I heard a lot of Donald Trump news. Didn't hear a whole lot about what Ted Cruz and John Kasich were doing, and this is just days before a major primary. So this is a candidate who's defied every piece of conventional wisdom. Is there any way that this was possibly a good week?
Well, that's a great point. And I think that his view is that when he sits down for a tough interview or kind of has one of these moments, that it is an opportunity for the camera to be focused on him, and that basically at the end of the day, having a camera focused on him is better than not. And so I think your basically assessment may very well be the one that he believes in. I think they think they're going to do better in Wisconsin than the polls suggest. We'll see. But he has a nice, strong firewall in New York and Pennsylvania. So he, it was not a good week for him, in part also because he hasn't had a win since Arizona. That's just the way the schedule works. There haven't been any contests, and that changes the rhythm of the campaign a little bit.
Let's talk about his visit to Washington this week, meeting with the RNC leadership. Was it productive, symbolic, or neither?
I think it was highly symbolic for him and for the RNC. For Donald Trump, he wants to show he's a unifier, that he is working with the party to try and do the right thing, that he can kind of pivot to a more presidential mode. That was true also of his meeting with his campaign strategist. For the RNC, they want to look like they're treating him fairly all the way across the board, because if this becomes a contested convention in the end, and Donald Trump doesn't get the nomination, if somehow in an open convention he doesn't get the nomination, the RNC wants to be able to say at all points they were fair to him, that he had access to the information he needed, that nobody was putting a thumb on the scale. So in the symbolic sense, it's useful for both of them.
Reince Priebus is warning that Trump's decision to abandon his party loyalty pledge could have what he called consequences. Is the RNC taking a more aggressive tack than it had been in the past?
It is taking a more aggressive tack, and basically also sort of saying, put up or shut up. This kind of constant back and forth about whether he'll support the pledge, support the party's nominee, is just as Reince Priebus said, it's really just a kind of political tactic. And if he wants to say no, then that's fine, and the party will stop giving him their help. So I think they are getting a little bit irritated, but they can only get so irritated because, as Reince Priebus also pointed out, Donald Trump has brought a lot of